because I didn't necessarily know what happened. Hold up 1 second. I didn't think that would hit hard. What is up everyone, it's your girl T, that's T with a double E, and welcome back to my channel guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And yes, as you guys can tell, I have attempted to record, sit down and just edit this video many times, and it just really has been unsuccessful. It has been something I wasn't necessarily comfortable with sharing with you guys because it was just me being in a very emotional space at the time and just very hard for me to discuss my situation, what has happened and where I'm at right now. But it has been a very long time, yes, and this video has been awaited very long for. So I'm here today, staying as strong as I possibly can, to basically tell you guys where I've been for the couple of months and my situation and what's going on now. So yeah, and I guess it's just me being real with everything that's happening right now and what has happened. So please do bear with me. I'm going to give as much detail as I possibly can, but yeah, let's get straight into it. So let the story begin. So a couple of months back, I was actually admitted into hospital for an emergency condition that I wasn't necessarily aware of. I started to develop a very weird, uncomfortable feeling in my abdomen area. It was just really unusual, and it was just a very dull, weird pain that just really would not go away. It just really started to become very excruciating, and I just really could not handle it. I then lost my appetite, I wasn't moving that much, and I just really was in a lot of pain. At this point, in a lot of pain, my parents rushed me to the nearest hospital. I'm admitted, they give me some painkillers through the drip, and the pain subsides. And when I mean completely subsides, it literally, they literally told me to lay there until the drips were done, which was like 2 hours. Once the drips were done, they literally told me stay in the hospital for almost just an hour, just so we know that the pain's not coming back and you're fine. So I was like, okay, cool. So I literally walked around the waiting area, walked to the canteen and everything in the hospital. No pain whatsoever. I was completely fine. So at this point, I just assumed I just probably picked up a bug, or it's just some type of flu, and hopefully they can give me a prescription for it. So they do actually give me a prescription for it. I walk completely normal at the hospital, and literally minutes before I even enter my house after the hospital, this pain is back and it is worse than ever. I just remember at this point I walked into my house and I just started throwing up continuously. I was literally in a state where I was almost collapsing. I was literally out of it, out of the breath, and it just really was horrific. My entire family was at home and everybody was just trying to help me. So it was crazy, and I was scared at this point because I just knew that I just got back from the hospital and nothing has worked. So it's probably something serious and I need to see my doctor the next morning. My nose is leaking, and this is how stressful this situation of me trying to communicate to you guys is. So being in this state, I just knew that I needed to see my general doctor that I see whenever I get sick, and maybe he can help me. So I just decided to bear out the pain for another night and take some meds and see my GP the next day. But assuming to be the strong person that I am, unfortunately I wasn't that strong enough. These symptoms just really got worse, and it was just really horrific for me at this point because I then found myself on my bathroom floor almost collapsing, or basically at this point collapsing and not being able to breathe, not being able to move, and just being really out of it, as if I'm literally going to die at this point. This is what it felt like. And I just remember screaming out to my mom, and literally as soon as my mom rushes into my bathroom, she literally looks at me and she's like, okay, no, she is not okay. We need to take her to the hospital right now. I literally at this point was passing out. I was not able to be mentally conscious. I was literally I was literally straight out of it. I think at this point my parents as well was just really horrified by the whole state I was in. So they then rushed me to hospital, and bear in mind this is a completely different hospital from the first one. And yes, as you guys will tell, I was then admitted back into the emergency area off that hospital now, but unfortunately my doctor was not available at the time, and so there was another doctor that checked me out. So they did my blood test, and apparently all my levels were fine, and my blood test literally just said that I was dehydrated. So I was like, okay, it's nothing serious, but I just really need to see my doctor right now, and I need to see what's up. So this pain really wasn't going away. They were giving me pain meds through, literally I had 2 IVs because that's how much pain I was in and how much of things I needed to now just help my body deal with this pain and deal with this dehydration, because I was literally completely out of it. So literally I had 2 IVs in the emergency area giving me fluid for dehydration and pain. Bear in mind, I literally entered the hospital at 6 a.m. I was admitted at 6 a.m. So you would assume by now my doctor will be coming in at 6 a.m. or just literally a few hours then after. But it doesn't happen like that in hospitals, because if your doctor is busy and no one is letting him know that there's a patient that is literally feeling as if she's dying, he's not gonna see you in time. So make sure when you're in an emergency area to get your doctor right there, right now, because you might see a doctor that may misread your shit and you're now getting treated for dehydration. But to my point, I literally was in hospital from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it was just really frustrating because I was still in a lot of pain from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. where they then admitted me into a different room in the hospital, and literally at 6:45 I'm alone because obviously my parents had to leave. It is now going to the time of visiting hours, so they're gone home to get me some stuff, and I'm literally sitting there alone in this pain, waiting for my doctor to come see me. So I am a bit out of panic at this point. And literally when my family leaves and decides to come back during visiting hours, my doctor shows up. I'm literally alone in this pain, not able to move, not able to speak, not literally mentally conscious to just be aware of him being there. I've literally now worked myself up to the point where I'm gonna throw up again. He then checks my heartbeat, checks the rest, checks everything. So he then starts pressing literally into my soul, and when I mean this pain was unbearable, I just really wanted to drop kick them. Once he was done examining me and identified where the pain was actually coming from, he then stands aside to my bed and lets me know that he thinks I might have appendicitis. So what is appendicitis, you might say? Because I don't even know myself at this point. When he tells me the news, I literally look at him and I'm like, okay, so it's probably just some type of flu that I could medically be treated for, and I will be at the hospital by tomorrow. I'll be good. I'll be fine. It's nothing serious. Again, I am still thinking it's some type of flu, but he starts explaining to me that my appendix might be inflamed. So yes, again, I don't know what an appendix is, wherever it is inside my body. I just know it's something inside my body that needs to be treated, and I probably don't need to go into theater for it. But as I'm thinking all of these things in my head, he's still explaining to me that your condition might be really bad. And yes, again, bear in mind, none of my family is there. No one is here to hear the news. Again, I do not know what appendicitis is. I'm still just thinking it's something not serious. But after telling me the news, he then literally runs out, and when I mean literally runs out, my doctor literally runs out my room, and 2 minutes later runs back into my room and gives me the news that I am the luckiest person on this earth because there is still a surgeon in the hospital. So I was like, great, I have to see a surgeon. Exciting. This is just really great news. I just really was out of it. I wasn't excited for anything. So this surgeon walks in. He then now presses even more harder. When I mean literally, I think the other stole that I had in my body left. He thinks I might have appendicitis, and they think that my appendix is inflamed and it's probably not that serious. They just need to operate on it and you'll be fine. So again, I'm still thinking it's not that serious, I just need to be operated on. He then starts explaining to me what appendicitis is and how this condition needs to be treated and why I actually potentially need to be treated on that same exact night. So when he decides to then start reading my levels out to me, I'm not making any sense of it until he gets to the point where he tells me that an infection level in a normal human being should be the number of 5, and mine currently at that moment is sitting at 298. So y'all can already tell how I'm feeling and how I'm dealing with this news. And I just knew that it was something serious. I was just really scared at this point because for my infection levels to be sitting at 298, something is definitely wrong. So I start getting ready for theatre, and I then start panicking because obviously going into theatre for something that I don't necessarily know about is just very scary. So I was then admitted into the theatre room, if I remember exactly, at like 10 p.m. somewhere around there, and I really was not ready for it, but it needed to be done because my condition was just really bad. So theater happens, the operation is done, and for the most part of it, this is just very difficult for me to speak about. Okay, so I'm trying not to tear up right now. So operation happens and theater is done, and I just remember the next day waking up in a completely different room and being numb from head to toe and just not being able to move or talk because I just had, and I knew I had a lot of stuff around my face and down my throat because I could feel it at this point, and I wasn't necessarily able to communicate to anybody. I wasn't surrounded by my family. Just it's a very hard reality for me being in that state, in that condition. I just knew that my condition was really serious and the state that I'm in is just really, really bad. I then see my surgeon and he then lets me know how theater went and what he had to deal with. So he then tells me that my condition was really bad. My appendix had burst about 2 days already before I even got to hospital, because when he literally went in, my appendix was literally just lying in my body, existing in a element of full infection, and the infection was so bad that septicemia was already setting in. And septicemia is very serious because once it's settled in the body, you can potentially die from it. So my appendix had burst and my entire 4 quadrants on my body was full with septicemia. I did not know what to think at this point. Him telling me that I was lucky enough to be operated on because if they left it for any more longer, they literally told me that I wouldn't have made it, and it just really, really was serious. Yeah. So I just knew that I had a reason for being in ICU and I needed to get better. I needed to stay strong, I needed to stay positive about everything that was happening right now. And practically what my surgeon did say, that I am out of the woods, the worst has already been done, so it's literally just time for me to rest and for them to manage whatever right now to make sure that I'm okay and everything will be fine further on. So I spent about a few weeks in hospital. I needed help from my nurses, I needed help from my mom, and yeah, it was just really tough for me. It was a long healing process, I would say. I knew I was getting better once they put me in surgical ward. So I am panicking because I had about 12 staples on my biggest wound incision, which was right where my appendix was. And I had about another 6 and 5 on the other 3 that were just existing. So I really did panic. I really was in a panic. So the wound specialist arrives, and for every deep breath that I took, a staple was removed. Yeah, it was really painful, I'm not going to lie, and I was just really scared because I felt almost everything that they were doing. My wound specialist pulls out this like pipe and this big machine. So I'm like, okay, what is this? So I'm just thinking it's another drain of what I had when I was in ICU. But rather than it being a drain that just hangs and just has to exist with me, it is a vacuum. Really was not happy having it. But I knew that it was one of the best therapies I could have ever been on for my condition. And I just needed to accept the fact that I needed it for my healing process, and that everything's going to be well after this. So I was then put on vacuum therapy for about another 6 weeks. Yeah. So a few days straight after getting the vacuum put in, etc., I was then allowed to go home. I was then discharged from hospital. I was really happy. I just knew now. I was so happy to be home. I was so grateful. I was so happy to see my family. And I think just at this point, I knew I just needed time to rest and I needed time to heal. And there was nothing else in the world that I needed to stress about right now rather than my health and getting better. And I just knew right now I needed to stay strong and positive almost every day of my healing process. About the last week of having vacuum therapy, I hear great news that my wound is closing very well, and I am now able to walk around freely without this pipe and this vacuum machine. I was just really ecstatic knowing that everything was going well and that I would be fine after this. So after that, it has taken me quite a while. I'm now healed. I'm healed, completely healed. I've completely healed, and I've now been doing whatever I want to do. I am endlessly grateful for the amount of support I've had, and just being able to get out of that situation, that condition that I was in. And I really am so grateful for just having the positivity around. I am endlessly grateful and thankful for everything that has happened, and it has generally been a journey. It really has. My healing process did take long. My healing process physically, my healing process mentally, and my healing process emotionally. It has been a true roller coaster. I wasn't necessarily a strong person when everything was happening, but I knew that I had to stay strong for myself. I knew I had to stay strong for my family, and I just knew that I had to stay strong for everything of my life in general, because I'm here for a reason, and I am forever thankful and grateful for all the love and support I have in my life, my family, my friends, you guys, everyone out there. It is still something I process every single day of my life right now. It is something I know has happened for a reason, and it is something I will grow with as the days go on. Just being able to open your eyes and just be thankful of everything, the family, the friends, and everybody in your life, everything you have in your life. It really is not hard to just thank people and just be thankful of everything you've been existing for. And with saying that, I hope that you take the story, and I hope that you take some form of encouragement or inspiration from this, and just live life to its fullest right now, and just embrace your inner self to the earth, and just be the person you always want to be. Honestly, just be you. Be you and just embrace life in the greatest way possible, and you will literally see a difference. I promise you, you will literally see a difference. And yeah, with saying that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed me being back, and I promise I am coming back. It has been a while, I'm not going to lie. I've been caught up with catching up with a lot of work, university, and just work in general. It's really been a crazy ride. But with saying all of this, your girl is back, and she is better than ever. And I promise you the content that is going to be coming out right now soon, very very soon. I am really excited for putting it out there, and yeah, I really cannot wait for it to be published, and I hope that you guys stick around with me. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be back. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you really did, give it a big thumbs up, and comment down below if you're really excited for me being back. And yeah, I will see you guys soon.